If you're someone that lacks confidence on a day-to-day basis, if you were trying to present as someone that is more confident, has high self-esteem, values themselves very highly, but you're not sure if it's coming across as authentic, you're not sure if you're doing a good job of it, I'm going to tell you the different ways that people can sniff out your lack of confidence as a former pretender. Hi everyone, my name is Jessica and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is essentially a second part of how to have the confidence of a star. I've already made that video on my channel, and that is a how-to step-by-step guide of how to start walking and being like someone who has confidence and faith in your confidence until you get it to the point that you want it to get to. This video is for people that have started faithing their confidence, that have started to act as though they have confidence, even though it might not match the way that they feel on the inside yet, but they're trying to make it as believable as possible. You guys are trying to make it as convincing as possible and trying to be authentic so that your actions can match the level of confidence you want to get to at some point. So this video is just going to be naming things that will make you look like you lack confidence. And so I'm going to tell you those things so that you can avoid them or fix them. That's it for the introduction. Let's get right to it. To begin with, the ways that people can sniff out your lack of confidence coming from a former pretender is eye contact, your lack of eye contact. Eye contact is a very powerful visual cue for building social links. Having eye contact with someone forces presence, it enforces confidence, and it enforces openness in the conversation, that you are open to interacting with the person. It shows that you are engaged, and it shows that you were focused on what the other person is saying, and you want to build this link with who you were speaking to. Things such as shifty eyes, lack of eye contact, so looking at the ground, looking everywhere else but the person's face, shows that not only are you uncomfortable in your own skin, but it shows that you are uncomfortable in this particular social interaction, which can send a bad message to someone who you actually want to befriend or build a relationship or link with. People who have good eye contact are seen as more trustworthy. They're seen as more friendly. They're seen as more open. And they're also seen as good communicators. People that have bad eye contact are seen as people who are untrustworthy. They are seen as people who are closed off, and they are seen as bad communicators. Now, there can be some nuances in the situation, and this just pertains to you speaking to someone who you actually want to have a conversation with and who you actually want to build some form of relationship with. But I understand that there are people who simply cannot help having a lack of eye contact. So people who fall on any form of neurodivergent spectrum can struggle with eye contact. But I'm about to give you guys some tips, so hopefully you guys can take those tips to be seen as a more confident and better communicator. So, rule of thumb: if you are someone that struggles with eye contact, if you were in a scenario where you're asking someone a question, maintain eye contact for the duration of the time that you were asking that question. So if I'm talking to you, I could be like, so what's on your schedule today? You wait for their response. You maintain eye contact during the length of that question, during the length of their response. You can nod, you have received that response, and then momentarily look away. If you were in a scenario where you are speaking, you can maintain eye contact with the person for the first 3 words and then momentarily look away and then look back. If we break eye contact, we always want to come back. We don't want to stay everywhere else. We want to come back and re-engage in the conversation, reconnect with the person. If you feel awkward with maintaining eye contact when someone is speaking, try and have different things that you can incorporate whilst keeping eye contact so that you're not stiff. One thing that I would recommend is, if I'm making eye contact, you can nod in agreement to what the person is saying. You can make eye contact and then cock your head to the side and nod as well. You can keep eye contact, blink and nod, just to show that you're being an active listener. You're actively engaging whilst moving some part of yourself and maintaining that eye contact as well. These different variations will stop you from feeling stiff in your efforts to become a good and confident communicator, whilst also not coming off too intense. That is something that can happen if you are trying to learn how to have good eye contact. You could end up coming off too intense, but with these tips that I gave you, that should help prevent intensity. The second thing that you can do that can have you easily be sniffed out as someone that lacks confidence is oversharing. Guys, oversharing is actually the bane of Gen Z's existence. Dictionary's definition of oversharing is essentially the act of revealing an inappropriate amount of one's personal life. The act of revealing an inappropriate amount of one's personal life. That alludes to the fact that there is an appropriate amount of information of one's personal life that can be shared within a conversation. Having some pieces of information that you keep to yourself or some pieces of information that you do not share just willy-nilly stops you from looking like you don't have anybody to tell this to, so you'll tell to anybody that listens. Oversharing in itself can come off as inauthentic. Why? Because it can come off as an accelerated bid for the establishing of a relationship to the person that you're talking to. Basically, it can come off as you trying to rush the process of you guys becoming friends, becoming partners, and this can put people off. It can put people off because it shows that you were not comfortable with yourself. Because if you were comfortable with yourself, you wouldn't have a need, a burning desire to have someone else know something that you already know. You would be comfortable with you being the only person or one of the very few people that knows this private thing about you. And because you are uncomfortable with yourself, the way in which you are going to relay this information is going to make other people uncomfortable being around you as well. Remember in my last video, I said talk slower, move slower. And so approaching anything with a quickness, because that's what oversharing is. It is an accelerated bid to form a connection with the person that you're talking to. Approaching anything with a quickness can come off as brash and it can put the person off actually wanting to form a connection with you. Ways that you can help this and ways that you can stop this trait from overtaking your conversations, from overtaking your social interactions and situations is you should have a category of personal topics that are okay to share with acquaintances, and then another category of personal topics that are reserved for friends, and then another more deeper category of personal topics that are reserved for close friends and family members. And then also keep some things between you and God, because you are your own friend as well, and God is always with you, and you guys knowing something, just you and him knowing something is enough. Not everybody needs to know everything about you. They can, but they don't need to. It's not that they don't want to, but they do not need to. Not because of them, but for you. Oh, this is a big one. This is a big one. If you do not want to be sniffed out as someone that lacks confidence, if you want to be someone that is presenting as confident, you are so sure in yourself and you were sturdy and you were comfortable with yourself, by yourself, and around yourself, using filler words is the quickest way to dismantle that perception to other people. Because if I use some words to really fill in my sentences and I'm trying to convey a point, I'm just, did you hear that? Was that irritating to you? I'm not saying it's irritating so that you can build your confidence with the intention of trying to appease everybody else and trying to be a pleasant conversationalist just for the benefit of other people. No. This is because when you are using filler words, you notice that you're scrambling your own brain. Your mind is moving faster than your brain, so you're having to use filler words in order for your brain to catch up with what you were trying to say. Why are you talking so fast? Why are you trying to speak so fast? Take your time. Take your time. When you're watching a TED Talk or when you're watching a YouTube video or when you are conversing with someone and they're using it's choppy, it cuts the flow. So your attention is going to go away quicker. If you were someone that wants to be a confident communicator, cutting out filler words is going to be the quickest way to get you there. I promise you. With the removal of it, it immediately makes you sound more confident. It immediately makes you sound like you were more sure in what you were talking about. The example that I just gave in the beginning of me using the filler words, it wasn't concise, it was lengthy, it was choppy, it didn't flow, and it can come off as me lacking confidence in what I'm saying. It can come off as me lacking confidence in the thought that I'm trying to express. By speaking like that, I just told myself. I might as well be screaming and waving a banner and telling you that I lack confidence, that I cannot talk. I don't feel like I should take my time. I feel like I should rush because I feel like me taking my time is taking up too much of your time. No. Speak slower. Speak slower. Okay, if you want to know more about that, go watch the first part of the video that I made on my channel. It's called How to Have the Confidence of a Star. That really dives into talking and being slower as a person to help improve your confidence. The fourth thing that can easily give you away as someone that lacks confidence is your stance. Guys, the way you are standing gives you away. Stop standing with one leg crossed over the other. Stop shifting the weight from one foot to another. Stop standing with your arms like crossed over any part of your body like this. And stop tugging at your clothes. You look uncomfortable. You look unsure of yourself. You look like you lack self-esteem. And you also look like you need to pee. It's not giving off the right message at all. And I know that your confidence might not be at the level that you want it to be at yet, but that's why we're supposed to fake it until we make it. That's why we're supposed to act like it's already there. And that is not acting like it's already there. The last thing for this part of the video that I'm going to tell you guys that is indicative of someone that has low self-esteem and lacks confidence and is something that can get you quickly sniffed out by someone who is confident is you're rambling. Stop rambling. You're using too many words. You're trying to insert parts of the story to make it seem more interesting. You're using a lot more words than necessary to engage others and to distract from the fact that you feel as though what you are saying is not funny enough, is not important enough, or they just won't care enough. I'm all for character and flair in a conversation because we don't all need to talk like robots. However, if you constantly never get to the point when you're speaking, or you just over-explain stories because you don't think it's important enough or the person actually doesn't really care enough, stop. Just stop. Take a deep breath. Think about what you actually want to say, the main point of what you're saying, and the end sentence, and then speak. Adding extra things, extra stories, extra words in there that is not already part of your natural flair is not necessary. I've also actually found that rambling makes you more anxious because when you're rambling, you're essentially word vomiting. Like your brain is going to 25,000 different topics. You're trying to think of the current social situation. You're trying to think of the person that is receiving this information whilst also over-explaining yourself all at the same time. It's too much. It's too much. And it will send you into overdrive. Nip it in the bud. Take your time. Breathe. Think of the main point. Think of the end sentence and speak. So that is it for part 1 of the video. Now let's move on to part 2. I personally find it easier when someone provides an example of what they're talking about so that I can visually see exactly what it is they're trying to tell me. I'm going to give you guys examples of characters in TV shows and movies and things like that of confident women that you can emulate in their mannerisms, in their stance, the way that they talk, the way that they move, in order to rethink the way that you are walking, the way that you are speaking, and the way that you are also coming across. To minimize and to avoid the act of appearing inauthentic and not really being true to yourself, I'm going to give different types of characters, and if they act somewhat similar to how you personally act or the way that you want to act, copy them and reject the others. So, if you want to come off as a woman that is confident but dominant, Olivia Pope is one of the examples I will give you. Olivia Pope is someone that is very sure of herself and she carries herself very confidently. You can see when she speaks, she does not stutter at all. She uses absolutely no filler words and comes off as very sure and confident. It is very captivating and also commanding. And so if that is something that is very attractive to you, that is something that you want to adopt for yourself, this is the way that you also want to come across, I would suggest watching Scandal and seeing how she moves about and try to incorporate that into the way that you speak and things like that. The next example of a confident and dominant woman is Jessica Pearson. My namesake. Jessica Pearson is essentially Olivia Pope's mother, okay? Her body language is almost always relaxed while still being dominating. She never, ever fidgets. And she only speaks when she has something to say and does not speak just to fill the air. Both of these characters are characters that you can study and emulate if a confident yet dominating woman is the way that you personally want to come across. If you were someone that is more of a girly, right? But you also want to appear very confident, the first character that I would urge you guys to look at and study is Elle Woods. Elle Woods is very confident and also very secure in her femininity. She does tend to use some filler words. However, her stance and her manner of delivery and great posture make up for it. She does not fidget, but she is very expressive, and she can ramble, but she always runs up and sounds very sure of herself in the process. So that is one for girly and confident. Another character example is Charlotte LaBeouf from Princess and the Frog. Charlotte LaBeouf is very excitable. She has great etiquette, so that will make her seem confident naturally due to things like her posture, the way that she talks, and the way that she expresses herself with her body language is very confident, yet also emotive. These two are great examples for you if you tend to be more girly and expressive, for you to emulate in order to be girly, expressive, and also very confident, to appear girly, expressive, and also more confident. The last sort of character type of confidence that I will give you guys is elegant but confident. If you are someone that wants to come across as more elegantly confident and sort of almost princess-like, Astrid Long from Crazy Rich Asians is a great example for that. Now, I personally love Astrid Long's character in Crazy Rich Asians, but I also think that the actress that plays her, Gemma Chan, is still a great example of elegance and confidence. So if you don't particularly vibe with the movie, the character in the movie, you could also check out the actress, her interviews, and study the way that she talks, the way that she walks, and how she carries herself. So Astrid Long takes her time. She speaks slow enough and does not use any filler words. Her posture is immaculate and she holds herself to a high regard. And not only does she hold herself to a high regard, people around her can sense that through her body language and her style of speech. Nothing about the way that she acts says that she is seeking approval from others or is self-conscious, but rather she is sure of herself and engaged in what you have to say. So someone like Astrid Long, for those who want to appear more elegant and confident, if this is the personality type that you want to be like, you will appear as someone that is a great conversationalist while also being someone that is very confident and sure of yourself. You will come off as someone who is a high value woman, as you will with all of these other female archetypes that I gave you guys as well. If you are just starting out your confidence journey, I already made a video. Watch this video. That video is essentially a part 1 to this one. So if you haven't seen that video, go and watch it and then come back and finish this one. There were so many positive comments from that video of people that decided that they were going to change the way that they acted from the tips that I gave them. And there were conversations started in the comments as well. So if you are someone that is struggling with confidence, watch the video and engage with other people in the comments so that you guys can start conversations and talking about the different ways that you were going to change your life and the different ways that you were going to start acting in order for it to be conducive with the version of you that has the confidence that you want to have. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please take the time to go through my channel and watch my other videos, the videos that you feel as though you need to hear someone speak about and give an alternative perspective to a subject that you've already talked about or heard about. I hope you guys have a lovely day, and see you guys in the next video. Bye.